Former President Trump appears to have been the victim of a shooting, likely an assassination attempt at a rally in Pennsylvania. Now, I'm going to break down what we know and at least bring to bear my expertise as a former Department of Homeland Security employee and U.S. Army combat veteran about the tactical sort of situation that appears to have transpired. Now, I can't show you the video as much as I would love to. YouTube's terms of service are pretty clear that I cannot show even routine kind of like arrests. I get demonetized. So I definitely can't show an attempted assassination of a U.S. Former president and presidential candidate. But there are some details that I think you guys should know because, one, the first question that people text me was like, could this be fake? And what I told them is what you see on stage there is exactly what the Secret Service should do. There's always a moment of about a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds, where people don't really realize, where the gears have to turn, where they say, yes, those noises are in fact gunshots. And then as soon as that happens, the Secret Service jumps onto the president and the former president and protects him with their bodies. And presumably the Secret Service have under their clothes protective vests. So in effect, they become kind of a human ballistic shield as part of an effort to protect the presidential candidate. That's part and parcel to their job. What's interesting to me is you notice they also tell the president, hey, get down, right? And this is something that anyone who's been through any level of military basic training is taught, that you're harder to hit when you're small, right? And this is doubly so on a stage, because I want you guys to consider for a moment sort of the physics of what is happening, right? When you're on a stage, right? So imagine the candidate Trump is up here and the attacker, hypothetically, right? I haven't seen like a breakdown of where the attacker was located, but generally they are below the stage. That means that if the president is able to get down, you could see how the attacker, because of the angle, might not even be able to engage the president with additional follow-up shots, right? So that alone is indicates to me that, right, this is the exact protocol that's supposed to happen. Now, what's also interesting is that as I point out, right, Trump is, I think, 78 years old. He's not a young man. And if this was some sort of stunt, right, you would not want to have a half dozen, Secret Service agents, highly trained Secret Service agents, dogpiling a 78-year-old under normal circumstances. That'd be very dangerous. You'd break a hip, break a rib. You could injure them very easily, unless they're being shot at and you're protecting them from that, right? Trust me, being dogpiled by a bunch of younger Secret Service agents is a vastly superior alternative to being shot. So that right away makes me think that this is totally authentic. Now, a couple of other details. You notice that former President Trump appears to have been injured somewhere around his ear, and that is pretty dangerous. But the fact that he seems to swat his ear as though he's been stung by something, that to me indicates that it likely actually did hit the ear, that it didn't penetrate further in. Maybe it was some sort of grazing blow of some sort. But again, the thing is, if you head injuries, right, serious head injuries that deal neurological damage, tend to lose some sort of function at that point. Now, the thing that worried me is that when you get trained in sort of assessing, like after a firefight, right? One of the things that you're trained to do is actually assess your battle buddy, check your battle buddy for bleeding. You literally pat their body down. And the reason is because when you get that initial surge of adrenaline, what happens is that your body eliminates your ability to process pain because it will distract you from the survival situation you're in. It's an important survival mechanism. And what that means, though, is that you can be hit in other places in your body and you cannot feel it until after the fact. And so the fear is that sometimes a soldier, a highly trained soldier, can actually get hit in their body and not notice it, right? Keep moving, because again, it takes time for kind of, unless you're hit in a really vital area, it takes time for that damage to kind of catch up to you, so to speak. Loss of blood pressure, etc. And so the fear would be that he may have gotten hit somehow, but it not reacted. But I don't think that's the case. And the reason is because, one, he stood up and he walked all the way back to his Secret Service vehicle largely under his own power, and without like a limp or a noticeable sort of loss of function of his arms. In fact, he had his sort of hand raised in defiance the whole time. And so to me, that all says that likely he wasn't hit. Again, that doesn't mean that it's a certainty, because again, it would be completely within the realm of normal for firefights, for firearms, engagements. I guess it's not a firefight. If it's an assassination attempt, it would be completely within the realm of normal to get in the vehicle. As you calm down, you go, oh man, wow, my rib really hurts. And then you go, oh no, the shooter did, a shot did hit me in the torso. But again, I really don't think that's the case. And if it were the case, again, the most lethal places to be shot are going to be ones where you see a relatively immediate incapacitation. And by immediate, I mean within 10, 15 seconds, right? Head, neck, heart, lungs, spinal cord, or like vital arteries, right? Kidneys, those arteries that run through your legs, femoral arteries. So again, right now, and then there's a lot we don't know. And I'm just pointing this stuff out. The only other thing that's worth talking about is that, again, the Secret Service agents, those guys work extremely hard. And it's worth pointing out that at a moment's notice, they did their job leaping onto the president, protecting him, or the former President Trump, protecting him, putting their lives on the line. And, if you're someone who, regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on, protecting, having people out there that protect presidential candidates with their lives, that is how important democracy is, right? And to me, that if you take away any silver lining, it's the knowledge that there's people out there like that who believe so strongly in protecting democracy and the democratic process that presidential candidates, are entitled to have people protect them that sacrifice themselves at that level. Not a lot of even countries can say that, right? So anyway, guys, that's all I had. Again, I'm sorry I can't bring in videos. I'd love to do a video analysis, but again, YouTube will absolutely not have that. And as we learn more, I will certainly be discussing it. This is a super breaking story. So again, I'm sharing the little bit of expertise that I can bring to bear. But there's still a lot we don't know. Anyway, guys, that's all I had. Subscribe to the channel if you appreciate this kind of insight, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.